All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes. And welcome to Bombs Away, the 10 worst movies of 2023. Already in the chat, friend of the channel, Hakami. Faithful Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary. My co-host for Mystery Movie Night at the Regal, Sin's Corner. And of course, I would like to say hello to everyone following along on Twitter. Unlike last night, this evening, I have a guest for this countdown. He is waiting backstage patiently, so now I'm going to bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, my partner in crime, the toxic gunslinger himself, Jedi Bill.
Hello there, Deleted Scenes, and hello, everyone.
Good evening.
Glad to be here.
Right on. Glad we could have you. Now, for those of you who watched last night's broadcast, my 10 best show, I started off with honorable mentions, movies that I liked, but I didn't have room for on my list. And this evening, I have a similar list. And that is my dishonorable mentions. Sort of a 20 through 11 of my worst. So I am going to jump into that real fast before Bill and I get to our picks. So my 20 through 11 worst of the year: Hypnotic, Cocaine Bear, It Lives Inside, The Creator, The Pope's Exorcist, Consecration, Meg 2: The Trench, Firenado, Bad CGI Gator, and just missing the list, The Exorcist Believer. Alrighty. Bill, since you are the guest, would you like to start the show? Because I believe our number 10s are actually the same film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my number 10 worst pick movie for 2023 is Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah. And this was my number 10 as well. And I know most of you are probably thinking, wait a minute, this is your number 10? Oh my God, how bad is the rest of the list?
Right.
Okay, so like I said, Bill, since you're the guest here, I'd like you to be the first. Go ahead and jump in and let everybody know what your issues were with this cinematic classic here.
Well, the storyline is just kind of really lame and stupid. However, the best part of the film that I like, because I love gore in film and horror films, the gore was spectacular. That's the only good thing I have to say about it, other than the story and how it goes through the movie. It's just altogether lame. Not much to say,
And hello to Gorilla's Random Thoughts. We just started. We are at number 10. So you haven't missed anything. We just literally got started a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Thank you for jumping in. All right. Any more thoughts on Pooh, Blood, and Honey on your end, Bill?
No. That's all I can say about that one.
Okay. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is my number 10 as well. And if I had anything good to say about it, it's that it felt to me like it was one of those straight to video wrong turn movies. That's what it felt like to me. Yeah, I agree. I agree that the kills were well done. There were some surprises in which characters died because it does subvert the kind of final girl trope. But subverts it in a good way, I think. There's a pretty good fake out towards the end. Which is probably what kept this movie from being lower on my list. And hello to Lady V. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you for listening in. If my main issue, and I have two, one has to do with the movie itself, and one has to do to kind of the filmmaker's reaction to people's reactions to it.
Mm-hmm.
One is that my main issue is I just thought it was generic. I mean, aside from, calling the characters, Pooh, Piglet,
yeah,
Eeyore, who doesn't make it past the opening credits.
Yeah, that's the incredibly lame part I was talking about.
Yeah. And we're supposed to get Tigger in the sequel.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The sequel?
Yeah, it's shot. It's shot.
Wow.
It's done. We're getting it this year. And
well, so when it rains, it pours.
The good news about this movie is that I saw it on Peacock, so I didn't pay anything for it. So that again, probably why it's not lower. The other issue I wanted to bring up was the fact that the director of this movie, who's Reese Wakefield or something like that, he does a number of these he does a bunch of horror movies all in a row. I think he directed Fire NATO as well last year, among others. And Hello to Big Al Presents and Lester San Jose. Since she's opting out of the sequel. Thank you. Big Al says it was a rare 0 stars film for him. Connie says, yeah, March 23rd. So we're getting the sequel at the end of the month, folks. So yeah. Well, the director of this movie kind of started sniping at some of our fellow YouTubers because he didn't like the reaction the movie was getting. And I think he would have been better off just kind of taking the L and moving on. I've seen far worse movies than this.
So have I.
But so I would have just said, okay, it's just a generic horror movie.
Yeah,
move on.
It's kind of the one that when you went to Blockbuster and it was one of those straight to video films that it's like, this looks interesting. If it was on the shelf at your Blockbuster or mom and pop video store, you'd probably pick it up to rent it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I watched this movie purely out of curiosity. I wanted to see if it was really as bad as everybody was saying. And like I said, there are places where it works. I liked that it was practical and not CG. There's probably a couple of illegal uses of honey. But, Um, it could have been worse. This movie almost didn't make my list, but I didn't have anything to put at number 10. So
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey at number 10.
Yeah.
Since as curiosity was why most people saw it. Yeah, this is, they look, the people who made this movie are clearly capitalists. So, this is generic cash grab stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'll probably again watch the and why do I do this to myself? Yes, Lady V. We've all been there. All right. And Kanye says the sequel is a hard no. Yeah. I'll probably see it just to see it. What the hell will it matter? But the ball's in their court. Who knows the next one?
Yeah.
Can't get any worse, right?
Yeah.
All right, folks. And Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is both Bill and mine's number 10.
All right. So you
All
go
right.
or I go?
Bill, go ahead for your number 10.
My number 9 pick?
Yeah, your number 9.
Because we're counting down, right? We're counting down.
We are counting down.
Okay. My number 9 pick would be the Pope's Exorcism with Russell Crowe.
Oh.
And there's all you need to say about it. Russell Crowe. And it's an exorcism film, and it just gets all types of bad and lameness, and just could have done without sitting through that debacle of film, Marie. Easily forgotten in less than 3.2 seconds.
And I had the wrong graphic up, folks. Give me a moment, please.
Oopsies.
All right. The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe. Yes. Okay. Here we go. And yes, I saw this movie as well. It was in my dishonorable mentions list.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another movie that's kind of generic.
Yeah.
It gets off to a really good start. It really does. And Russell Crowe, pretty decent performance. I liked it. I was fine with him. I thought the acting was fine. Franco Nero was the Pope, who got nominated for a Razzie for some reason. He wasn't that bad. I mean, come on, guys, get a grip. There were far worse movies than this, in my opinion. Where it really where Pope's Exorcist lost me, and where I went from giving it a mild recommendation to a mild thumbs down, was the fact that it ends like it's a pilot for a TV show.
Yeah.
And that was my main issue, was it felt like it felt like a TV pilot. And if you're going to be a feature, you can't feel like I should be watching this thing on. I should be watching this on commercial television. You can't be doing that.
Yeah.
So that's where it fell apart for me personally.
For me, it felt like a sci-fi film starring Russell Crowe.
Since says Russell Crowe was the best part about that movie. Yeah, I agree. Lady V says, yeah, that's the only thing I really didn't like was the ending. Yeah. I remember Andre from Midnight's Edge when he brought up he had seen this movie. He said he liked that up until the ending as well. But he had the issue. He had an issue with the use of the CGI, which is not great. You know, it kind of turns into a CGI crap show at the end. But other than that, I personally just thought it was kind of generic.
Yeah.
Right. Any other thoughts, Bill?
Nope.
So your complaint is it ends like a TV pilot and it's a Russell Crowe movie. No, Crowe was fine. It was just that it felt like a TV movie. To me, anyway. The ending could do better. Yeah, agreed. But it was the same. It was the same director as Overlord from a few years ago. So it's that director's kind of 0 for 2 with me right now. So not good odds. All righty. Well, I will move on to my number 9. And my number 9 is going to be a controversial pick to some people. To others, might be upset that I don't have this lower on the list. And Bill, I know this is one that I think you have coming up.
Yeah.
My number 9 is Barbie. And I'll go over very quickly what I did like about the movie. I liked the production design. I think the leads are perfectly fine. And I like some of the music. But with me, it ends there. It is the messaging in this movie that killed it for me. There is a point where it lost me and it never got me back. You know, and I wound up being just bored watching I get it. They're trying to do a Broadway show for the movie screen. But it's the messaging of it that just killed it. You know, and I'm not going to go into it. Everybody has spent a lot of their time going into what their issues were with this movie. That I'm not going to spend time doing it here. The reason why I didn't go lower with it was because, like I said, it's a well-made movie. You know, but man, it's just the other thing is that I know it's a movie that's not meant for me. And not in that, oh, and we didn't make it for you, you know, not like that. I am not the demographic for this movie. I get that. So again, a movie I didn't go to the theaters to see. This was sent to me. And I did give it due diligence, folks. You know that. I watched beginning to end. I didn't feel like I was being tortured, but at the same time, This just isn't a movie for me.
I felt tortured when I finally decided to watch it on HBO Max,
uh,
and I only did it because well, I had to see what you know what the people was true on the reviews, and I don't know, maybe I just wanted to admit pain myself.
all right. Let me go back to the chat here real quick.
Right.
Since she was never interested to see it, Dead Man Walking has joined us. Thank you.
Hello, Dad, man.
I am on voice
Good
chat.
to see you.
New to my channel, Edge of Time.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. It says, but it's sensational. It really isn't. Illegal use of honey. Yeah, we're still on that, I guess, in the chat. Sorry. Hard no from me on this dumpster fire. Yeah, Connie's not a fan.
I don't blame you.
Garla says, the problem with this one is I needed a stomach pump after taking a shot every time they said patriarch.
Oh, yes.
Didn't Ken win an award, but Barbie didn't? Yeah, and he still might. Ryan Gosling did get Oscar nominated for this movie. So did America Ferrera.
Oh, wow.
Margot Robbie did not, which kind of surprises me. But well, it is what it is, folks. Barbie is my number 9. And I think it's going to be coming up here before the end of the show. Since I thought about doing a reaction to the whole woman speech one of the characters gave in Barbie just so I could trash it. Yeah. The scene where America Ferrera has her big monologue, and that's the scene that either makes the movie for some people or breaks it for others. For me, it was in the I was in the Baroque section at that point. All right, Bill, your number 8.
My number 8 is 65. I was so pumped after seeing from the Super Bowl ads that pumped this up, and it's like, you know how good some trailers are. This trailer shows you all you need, and then it's just you get to the film and it's like, yeah. So I watched that, and it's shit. I think I even watched it after seeing your review for it. It's like, I need to look at it because I need to have my own opinion about it. And after sitting through, it's like, yeah, that was not worth my time, not worth anybody's time. I don't recommend this to anybody. Yeah, that one just fell flat on its ass. It turned into a Jurassic Park movie. The bad one at that. Overuse of CGI.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about it.
Okay. Well, keep 65 in mind, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be coming up again by the end. All right. So that gets us to the next movie on my list. And my number 8 is a movie that I watched for the first time on Western Cinema Presents along with Bill. And that's The Old Way with Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like this movie. I wanted to like it. But in the end, I'm sorry. I couldn't find anything to like. Again, a very generic
Yeah.
revenge, wants to be unforgiven so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nicolas Cage. He is this notorious gunslinger. Um, Eventually meets a woman, marries, puts away his guns. They have a daughter. He eventually comes to own a general store. While he and the daughter are away one day, his past shows up looking for him.
Yep.
They kill the wife, and it becomes this revenge mission because the daughter knows what the bad guys look like, and he has the means to take these guys down. So it's basically the two of them chasing after the outlaws. He is being chased by a regional marshal played by Nick Searcy, who's very slowly turning into Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
I like the guy, but he's turning into Wilford Brimley. And, okay, we'll have another Wilford Brimley. It's fine.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. All right. Now, everything pretty much happens the way you think it's going to, which is why I say it's generic. I don't know. There was something nagging at me about the young actress that was playing the daughter. And I hadn't seen her in anything else, but I knew that she was in the remake of Firestarter from a couple of years back. So I said to Bill, was she good in Firestarter, or was this just kind of bad directing in this movie? And he said, no, she was the same in that movie.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, no, and I'm because my thought was, okay, is she playing this character like she's on the spectrum somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
And because that's the way it came off. But and I don't like hacking on kid actors, but it's just plain a bad performance then.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
If she was the same way in Firestarter, you know.
That could
And,
also be bad direction and bad
yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah. And joining us from the future, Sashi. Nicolas Cage in a generic movie? No way.
I think that's his whole movie career right now. Except for Renfield. Renfield, he was good in Renfield. I liked him in Renfield.
Yeah, and Renfield was one of the movies that I unfortunately didn't get to.
We'll have to watch that one. Deleted.
All right. Well, this is your number 7, Bill.
7, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My number 7 is a Jason Statham film, Megalodon 2: The Trench. Oh boy, this is another Jurassic Park ripoff crapola of crap. It's like, damn, you like the first one, but it's more of the same. And it's repeat, rinse, repeat. and then it turns into this whole
Mhm.
Jurassic World horrible knockoff.
And hello to a first timer to my chats, Deborah McDonald. Thank you for joining us. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just,
Go ahead, Bill.
the Meg was just a big disappointment. I wanted to like it, and it just came out to be another crappy film. Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, Meg 2 made my dishonorable mentions. And I think I recalled saying at the time that it felt like it was written by an 8-year-old with ADD. You know, that's how I describe this one.
Or I thought AI might have wrote this thing, and
you did say that, yes.
I think AI wrote it.
It certainly does come off that way.
Yeah. What's bad? I think they're planning that third. What's just so bad? It's like, no, I don't want another one. Stop it. Just stop.
Since says the part in the Meg 2 where they tried to explain that clearing out your sinuses will prevent you from being crushed by the ocean depths made my brain explode. What? Yeah, that was when the movie becomes a ripoff of Underwater for 10 minutes. This is supposed to be a Jason Statham punches a shark movie, and that's what the first movie was. And that's not what this was. This was just another bad Jurassic Park sequel.
Yeah. It's like,
and hello JPRPH1.
Why you throw in all these dino things when it's supposed to be the goddamn Meg in the trench, and it's got nothing to do with that. Nothing. They came from the trench, and that's it.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. The opening sets up the fact that there are dinosaurs around. I get it. That's fine. But it's just that it's a giant shark movie. Make it about the megalodon. Why are we seeing velociraptors?
Yeah.
Why? like so much about this movie. Why? Yeah. Why is the human villain hiring Jason Statham to stop her from doing what she herself is doing? Why? Why did they fridge the girlfriend between movies? Again, why? Jason Statham should just engage in hand-to-hand combat with sharks. Yes, that's what we want to see. We want to see Jason Statham punch a shark. Just don't punch a fucking shark. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Meg 2. Almost hand to thin. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if only there was something that clever in the actual movie. But alas, no. Okay.
That's my number 7.
My number 7, 65. Yeah. Man, this was a real disappointment. I had 65 on my most anticipated movies of the year list. And great trailer. from the makers of A Quiet Place. I was in. I was ready. Yes, let's go. Let's do it. Oh, the whole movie was in the trailer.
Yeah.
No suspense. No stakes. You know everything that's going to happen from start to finish.
Yeah.
Adam Driver's the best part of it. He's good in an action role. I just hope that they actually put him in a good movie in general. I mean,
You know what my favorite Adam Driver film was the one where he was fighting. He was a cop and he was fighting zombies with Bill Murray.
oh, the Jim Jarmusch movie,
Yeah,
that Dead
I have.
Rise. Yeah, I had forgotten about that movie.
I loved him in that. He was so great because he gets to make fun of Star Wars. I loved him for
and
that. Like, yes,
and Hello, Aged Boomer.
hey, age boomer.
Yeah, but to remind everyone that in about 75 minutes from now, Aged Boomer will be hosting this week's episode of Geeky Geezers. Troy Pacelli will be joining him as usual. And they're going to begin with a memorial for the late, great Richard Lewis. So stay tuned for that after our show. All right. I think it's time to put our number 7s to bed there.
Yep.
So, Bill, number 6.
My number 6 is a Netflix film with a pretty woman. I hate when you can't think of the actress. Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts. Yeah.
Leave the World Behind. It was a good movie, and the ending just freaking killed the whole film for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was invested in this film. This film was great, and then they had to go give it that ending that just ruined the entire film for me. This film is on Netflix now. If you have a Netflix or you can share with somebody, but I wouldn't recommend it. I don't recommend it at all. The end just totally annihilated and killed it for me.
Well, I have not seen this one yet either. It is, like Bill said, it was a Netflix movie. Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Mahershala Ali. Written and directed by the same guy who created the iRobot, not iRobot, Mr. Robot on USA Network. And from what I understand, he's also going to be the showrunner for the next adaptation of Battlestar Galactica. Based on what I've been hearing about this movie and some of the reaction to how Mr. Robot ended, I'm not looking forward to that at all. Lady V says, dear Steve, that it gets spooky. I may give it a try. Thanks for the heads up. Endings can truly ruin the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Definitely, because there's certainly a few on my list that kind of lost it in the end.
Yeah. There were some cool things in the film, but It's just, yeah, just that ending just totally ruined it for me.
Yeah.
What's up, Corey?
Oh, hello. Another first timer to my chat, Corey Cochran. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Moving on to my number 6. And my number 6, it is another disappointment. It was an action film directed by a man who is a master of action films. Someone that I have been a fan of for decades. And this movie plays like he didn't even direct it. And that's Silent Night, directed by John Woo. And this is stars Joel Kinnaman. He's a man who is shot in the throat, can't speak, and his son is killed when they are kind of collateral damage in a drive-by. So he then spends the next year recovering and then plotting his revenge against this gang.
There is a spoiler alert. There is zero dialogue throughout the film.
None.
No. It's
and
right
not,
there, silent.
Yeah. You know, and not just him. Nobody speaks.
Nobody
which
speaks.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. It's just, it kind of looks like try to be a one shot. That's all things happening basically, and it's like you don't go to see a John Woo film without dialogue, but this one caught me off guard, and there was no dialogue in the whole film. Then that's a John Woo film. I'm not used to John Woo films having no dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Sashi says the Silent Night is the Punisher light as the kid gets taken out. Since there's another disappointment, this one was in a double feature I saw that night. Both of them were bad. I was so annoyed. Then I saw Godzilla -1 the next day and was a happy camper. Yeah, same.
Good for you, Sin.
It was the same with me, only I didn't have the double whammy of also seeing the shift like she did and being disappointed by it. So it's like after Silent Night, I just went home. I was so dejected during that review. And because if there's anything that I don't like, it is a boring action movie. And man, that I was waiting for this movie to get started, and it never got started for me. And by the time it finally did, it was over. Is it worse than the last Ant-Man? I didn't see it. I didn't see Ant-Man. So I really can't say. I avoided a lot of the Marvel movies this year, so they're not on my list. But I'm sure they probably would be if It's all right. Silent Night is my my number 6. Okay, folks, since we are here at the
Halfway point.
halfway point, let us know in the chat. What were your disappointments of the year, or movies that you thought were maybe a little disappointing, or just downright crap, one or the other? Because, oh, trust me, we are getting into some downright crap.
Oh
Until
yeah.
we get to the last. We are there at kind of. I know certainly on my list we have come to the point to where we have reached the lowest of the low, and I'm almost afraid to see what's. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely my last 5 for sure are true howlers. All right. So Bill, we are up to your number 5.
Yep. My number 5 kicks off with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, a DC hero, another hero film that just fell flat. And yeah, Amber Heard was cut out of most of the film, but yeah, this one just it's just not good. And I really liked the first Aquaman, but this one it's like they can it fix it? And I don't know.
Hey, take care, Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Have fun.
Later, Gorilla.
Since she refused to watch Aquaman 2.
I just recently watched it like a week ago, and it was just just all around bad. Could have done without it. It's now almost 2-hour film that I could it's like I could have avoided, but curiosity had me going and wanting to see it. I just didn't know it would be that damn bad, terrible. And that's all I really could say about that.
I like the first movie. To be honest, any movie where you have Dolph Lundgren riding a seahorse into battle, yeah, give me more of that. Because I was wondering what drugs I was on, and I hadn't taken anything. But okay, when that happened, I was like, okay, I'm in. But yeah, that you couldn't drag me to this one, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, well, you don't need to.
Well, I've heard people say that maybe Patrick Wilson would have made a better Aquaman.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, it's been too long since the comics, and it just there's no interest for Aquaman. The whole DC universe, which when we get to my number 4, is another DC film. So we'll get to that more into it. Yeah, it's just bad.
Corey Cochran says, I have to look at the box office to see what came out. Only seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That I did not want to see, but the things you do for family. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, my number 5 is one that people are probably going to be surprised isn't lower on my list. And again, one of the biggest disappointments of the year, because this was the 5th installment of a franchise that is really close to my heart. And if you want to see not only a great review of a bad movie, but an autopsy of a bad movie, go over to Retro Blasting's channel and watch his video about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And if you want to know everything that is wrong with movies today, this is the best example. Harrison Ford keeps saying this is his favorite character. If that's true, how did he allow this character to be treated like this?
I don't think he had a. To be honest, I don't think he had a choice. He was cuckolded by KK. That's my opinion. The
lamest villain of the series.
It's just more of
you got this, what's the word I'm looking for? The self-insert character. Everything just went wrong with this movie. Everything. I didn't like anything about it.
Look,
except
the poster isn't even interesting.
No.
That does not make you want to see it. I mean,
no. The only good thing about it was maybe Antonio Banderas, and he's in the movie for 5 minutes.
4 seconds. Like,
yeah.
And I barely could tell it was him.
This was a misfire on all levels. And my advice, folks, and not just because he says it better than I ever could, but because it was such a well-made video, and I don't think enough people have seen it, is go to Retro Blasting's channel, not right now, later, and see his video that he made, because he goes point by point, because he's an Indiana Jones super fan.
Yeah.
So this movie really broke his heart, and
as it did mine.
It broke mine too.
Yeah, To me, this is it has his name, but he was sidelined.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. That's what Lucasfilm did to it. I mean, this is why I hope it goes broke.
Yeah.
Completely broke. Definitely woke.
All right. Well, we'll move on to your number 4.
Number 4, another DC film, The Flash. It has Michael Keaton returning as Batman, and that was the saving grace that got me into the theater, that got me to buy a ticket. But even though his performance and all that was great and awesome, couldn't even save this film. It's got horrible CGI, horrible timing, and the whole multiverse thing. It's been overplayed throughout hero films. This film was such a huge disappointment. Bad CGI, and then do you have the star Ezra Miller, who is he's good at playing characters, but as a human being, he's horrible. And, yeah, this is just really bad and sucks and not worth anybody's time, to be honest. Really bad CGI.
Says, Lady V says, I've never been interested in The Flash, just too much. And also says, AHS ruined Miller.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that kid's got problems.
Yeah.
I avoided this one.
I did a review that's actually been it's been speeding up on my it's been picking up traction on my review that I did. I did it the non-spoiler, and I was gonna follow up with a spoiler review, but it was just so bad I couldn't bring myself to do the follow-up spoiler. It's just so terribly bad that I was like, no, I'm not gonna go back and do it. Yeah, so that's my number 4. Another DC flop.
All right. My number 4 was one of the Mystery Movie Night films. And going into those, that it could be a mixed bag. It's that proverbial box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And my next movie came to us from the writer of the movie Freaky. And it's a movie called It's a Wonderful Knife. And basically, it is a horror movie version of It's a Wonderful Life. It starts out basically like the third act of a Scream movie. This young woman survives this attack by a serial killer, kills him, unmasks him, and then, for whatever reason, her life just goes completely wrong. And she basically pulls the George Bailey, what if I had never been around? And then she kind of preys upon the Aurora Borealis, and and finds out what life would have been like if she had never killed the killer, because he's still killing, even though he doesn't need to at that point. But he just continues and just starts on the whole town. This movie is just plain dumb.
The title seems lame.
And the sad thing about it is I like the lead character. I want to see I want to see this girl in a better movie, but it was just so lame. It's a movie made for Gen Zers. It's got all
That
the
makes a lot
tropes
of
that they
sense.
like.
Yeah.
There's nothing to like about it. Yeah, Sin wasn't a fan either, I remember. Connie says, every time I try to watch this movie, something comes up. My advice would be don't. Just don't. Now, I know a lot of people like Justin Long. And I've heard people say that they think he's the best thing about the movie. No, he isn't. Because aside from Jeepers Creepers, everything he's been in, I want to hit him in the head with a rake. Can we not have Justin Long in any movies anymore? Just go away now. Go away now, as the drinker would say. Sounds like a murder version that goes to Christmas Past. Yeah. It's becoming a problem. That's the kid from Jeepers Creepers. Yeah. The sudden gay kiss at the end was so cringe. Yeah. This is one of those movies where half the characters are gay. Like a disproportionate amount. I don't mind one character or two half, and it's suddenly out of nowhere. Like, okay, just enough now. It this movie got made because the screenwriter put all of the Gen Z tropes, woke tropes, into this movie, and that's the only reason it got made. And it was lame, and I hated it. Very noticeable disproportionate amount. And the MC suddenly feeling it is just lame. Yeah. Isn't everyone gay now? You would think so, watching this movie. Like, God, yes, I'm not a fan of him. You just want to hit him when he comes on screen. Yeah. All right. So that is my number 4. So, Bill, your number 3.
My number 3 worst film for 2023 is the Barbie movie. I finally broke down and watched it, as I said earlier, because I had to have my own opinion about it. And yes, they see the patriarchy too much. It's just too much far left feminism. I do give it props for the good set design work. That did good job. There's nothing really good I can say about this except for Ryan Gotts played good Ken, but then it's like, why do they had to dumb it, make all the male characters dumb and just lousy? Why does Hollywood have to continuously beat men down? Why? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Why the far left feminism has to cancel men. I'm tired of it, and it's just crappy, and it was torture, but I powered through and I watched the thing, and that once was enough. Once was too many. However long run time, it was too long. It was torturous.
All right, sorry.
Uh,
Heck no. Lady V says only the Kens of the world can be dumb enough to endure the Barbies. That's why.
yeah.
It's become a big trend nowadays to stomp on men, especially straight men. Yeah, and they definitely do that in this movie.
Yeah. Big time.
All right. Well, folks, I did say that there was going to be a video at the end of the year, which actually turned out to be 3 months into the next year. Would bring Barbie back up. So, well, I'm afraid there is going to be one more because I am going to do a Oscar prediction telecast. So I might have to bring this movie up one more time. Unfortunately, please, I don't want to talk about Barbie anymore. Oh no, God help me. All right, so Barbie was Bill's number 3. Now mine is the latest by a director that I used to be, in retrospect, something of an apologist for, and someone whose movies that I really did enjoy up to a point, but I'm really beginning to understand the issue with him. And that director is Zack Snyder, and my number 3 is Rebel Moon. Exactly. And this movie is a 2.5-hour trailer.
For what?
I don't know. Wish I did.
It masquerades as Star Wars, but it's not Star Wars.
Yeah. Remember, people who enjoy this movie. This was a Star Wars script so bad that Kathleen Kennedy said no. Do you really need anything more than that?
Again, this is another Netflix film.
Yes.
Netflix has made the list twice.
Sin says, I still haven't finished this one. Don't. It doesn't get any better. Haven't been a fan of his ever. No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you in retrospect.
It's good to fall asleep to. I mean,
yeah.
Put it on and fall asleep to it. I'm saying I absolutely did that more than once.
I think I even had to go back and rewind at one point.
I think I put this on. I tried to watch this thing 4 times, and 4 times I fell asleep to it. I think it was right around the 6th time I finally got through it.
Yeah, I like Sucker Punch as well, Corey. And I know a lot of people kind of rip on that movie, but I did genuinely enjoy that. It's probably, and it's like the one original idea he's had. It wasn't based on something else. And that's the problem with Rebel Moon. It's just pieces of other movies, namely Star Wars. It was meant to be a Star Wars film, and Disney rejected it. And those are totally not lightsabers that woman is holding. No, they are not at all. Not lightsabers. No, we're not ripping off Seven Samurai. No, we're not at all. Just moving on. The Sun says, I love the Snyder Cut. I enjoy Man of Steel and love BVS. Hated his recent zombie movie. It was god awful. Yeah, I bailed out of that one after the first 10 minutes. Bill gives it 4 out of 5 Z's. So
Yeah.
he should have made this a show, not a movie. That way, if it takes 2 to 3 hours to set up, it's not as bad. Yeah. Again, this is a movie we're getting a sequel to this year. I'm not looking forward. Let's see how they defeat the villain they already killed. The best thing to do, folks, is to skip this movie and watch
Yeah.
Ryan George's pitch meeting, and you'll believe me, you'll have a far more entertaining time watching that movie than you ever will this. All right, Bill.
Okay.
You're number 2.
Number 2 would be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery. Oh, I mean Destiny.
Mhm.
And it's total blasphemy. Decimation of Indiana Jones. They should have never made this film. This film should have not been made. I mean, you had the Crystal Skull. It was horrible, crappy. Nobody wanted this film. This was a cash grab. This was written, another one written by AI or high school kids or or our nieces and nephews, and Harrison Ford gets sidelined in his own film. They have a protagonist who's god awful. She's ugly, and oh god, this is so. This film angers me. It angers me to the point of just fuck you, Disney. Fuck you. Fuck you, Osaka. You only produce shit. You're only using the namesake, and you're spending all this money for what? Who like who sees this shit? Who thinks this shit's good? I do not. I do not.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all, Bill. The sooner this one is forgotten about, the better. So you're through trusting this one. Oh no. Oh no, I think they killed Bill. Bill.
What?
Speak to me loud. Speak to me.
What?
Oh, you're still there. Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Kanye says, agreed, this movie never should have been made. No, it should not have. And my number 2 is also a movie that should not have been made. This is another franchise sequel. Made by a competent director with the proper actors to be able to pull this movie off. And again, I am asking the question, how do you make an action film boring? And ladies and gentlemen, my number 2 is The Expendables 4. I don't know how do you screw up a movie that should be so simple? You have your hero, you have the bad guy, you have a couple of shootouts, you move on. It's a boring story. That was not meant to be an Expendables movie. It was originally meant to be a spin-off movie with Jason Statham's character. It was supposed to be a one-off. In fact, they were going to call it A Christmas Story. That's what they were going to call it. Now, it's this kind of Die Hard on a boat storyline, which is perfectly fine. You know, effectively Under Siege with Statham in it. Really, is all it is. Now, that happened because Stallone didn't want to do a 4th movie. But somewhere along the way, somebody decided, no, we got to have him in here. So they threw a lot of money at him to return. And he's kind of shoehorned into the movie. And then they kill him off, or appear to kill him off pretty early on. You know he's alive the whole time. And how they go about faking his death turns his character into a straight up murderer. Because he makes a bet with a guy in a bar, right? And he loses this famous lucky ring that he has through all of the movies, right?
What? Oh,
yeah.
I haven't even seen this film.
So what he does is he loses the ring in a bet. So when he gets to the point in the movie where he wants to fake his death, he basically kidnaps this guy who he lost the bet to, puts him in the plane, jumps out, and leaves the guy in the cockpit to die. He kills the guy for a ring. That's our hero, folks. So they think Stallone is dead. Statham gets blamed for this kind of bullshit reason.
Yeah, let's say bullshit.
He gets thrown out of the Expendables. He gets thrown out. And somehow Megan Fox's character is now suddenly the leader. Yes, Megan Fox is in this movie for some fucking reason. I don't know.
God.
And she's Statham's girlfriend, and it's this kind of, well, after your first question is, wait a minute, what happened to Charisma Carpenter? Bring her back here, please. I would rather have her in this movie than, well, I would rather have her in any movie, but
Roundy
we can
Rossi would have been better.
we can make a movie. I can make a movie with Charisma Carpenter really easily. Anyway, moving on. You know, um, yeah, they should have just brought Ronda Rousey back, and they didn't do that. 50 Cent is in this because he has to be in every Stallone movie now for some reason. There's no attempt at character development for any of them. They make a couple of half-ass attempts at it with Dolph Lundgren's character and Randy Couture's character. Terry Crews is gone. Wesley
Terry
Snipes
Crews?
is
No
not
Terry
in it.
Crews.
Terry
Well,
Crews is
there's
not
your
in it.
fucking problem. No Terry Crews. There's your problem.
Tony Jaa's the villain, which is good. No, he's not the villain. The guy from The Raid's the villain. Iko Uwais, he's the villain. Tony Jaa's in the movie. They're totally wasted. You actually find out, and I'm going to spoil the shit out of this movie, folks, because it is god awful. Andy Garcia's character is ultimately revealed to be the villain. Action mainstay Andy Garcia, ladies and gentlemen, and I like Andy Garcia. Okay, he's a good actor. I genuinely I like him as an actor. I like him as a human being. Cool. Andy Garcia's in the movie. Great. Okay. But he kind of plays his character like he's a Looney Tunes cartoon, you know. And long story short, the Expendables get caught. Statham being the only person left at that point, he has to go in and save them, which he does. He confronts Sandy Garcia, and then Stallone shows up after being gone for like 90 minutes of the movie to kill Andy Garcia. And reveal that the actual plot of the movie is he faked his death and killed, again, like I said, this completely innocent guy, you know, to fake his death, just so he could head fake Andy Garcia into thinking he is safe, because Stallone is now also working for the CIA, and the entire plot was to kill Andy Garcia the whole time.
It sounds like AI might have wrote this one as well.
It is the dumbest plot ever for a movie. And
okay, folks, I think AI is just writing all scripts these days.
Yeah. You know, lame story, lame action, lame performances. Nobody's good, except maybe Statham. It's all green screen. It's all CGI. It looks awful. You can tell there were parts of it that were reshot. Fuck this movie. And it was almost my worst movie of the year. But there's one that I'm going to be talking about here in a minute that's going to be even worse.
Oh, goody. We could do my number one worst film for 2023.
Yes.
Which is another hero film. Another comic book company that's being destroyed by Disney. This one's The Marvels. With Brie Larson and I don't know. Basically, you had to watch all the Miss Marvel, which I didn't, and all that crap, and then yeah, this film was so cringe fest, so horribly bad, and people are praising the young actresses. For me, it's just this. This where's that clip for Brie Larson? This film wasn't made for you. A Wrinkle in Time. No shit, this movie wasn't made for me because I would not pay to see this shit. I didn't want to see this shit. I watched it only because I had to have my own opinion about it. And that's the only reason why I looked at this film. And it's just another god awful piece of heaping garbage. You know, uh, you had to watch multiple series, and it's it's WandaVision and Miss Marvel. You had to watch those shows, but it's just so crap. And then this movie for me just so bad. And again, it's why Disney, why Marvel, why what the fuck's going on? You have no good story writing. You can't deliver a film to save your life. Why are you wasting money and people's time? Who the hell do you make this shit for? Who the hell do you make this shit for? It's garbage. It smells like shit, tastes like shit, is shit. It's shit.
Okay.
Hi, I
Well,
like my ticket to a piece of shit.
wow.
Can I get a refund after I see said piece of shit? I'm gonna raise hell about give me my money back. Give me my time back.
As a Sin, if you're still in the chat, Sin, remind me, did you get a refund for that movie that you walked out of? Let me know in the chat.
You should always, if a movie's so bad you have to walk out of it, definitely stop by the box office, demand your refund, raise hell about getting your refund. Because it's worth it. Get a refund. Make them throw in free popcorn and a drink too. Fuck it. This crap should not be made.
I have to somewhat agree with Corey here. My problem is not necessarily Brie Larson. I think she's better when she is in a supporting role. I think she's better when she's part of an ensemble. I don't think she should be the lead. And speaking of not, liking A Wrinkle in Time, I didn't like A Wrinkle in Time either. But again, I knew that movie was not meant for me. And I'm going to be bringing up The Wrinkle in Time here one more time when we get to my number one, because it's going to relate. Sin says, I did get a refund. It had already started, but I know the manager's there, so that might be why they made an exception. Also, I was buying another ticket to see something else, so that might be why. Yeah. Sin walked out of a movie, an Indian film called Agent. And it's like the only movie that she has, to my knowledge, ever walked out of. And when we get to my number one, I am going to talk about a movie I considered walking out of. And I'm surprised to this day that I didn't. Sin also says, I refuse to watch this movie because my dislike for Larson is too strong to have enjoyed it. Sashi says, Brie Larson seems to be obsessed with Bollywood movies. Yeah, that does seem to be the case, because there was like a Bollywood musical reference in this movie, was there not, Bill?
Yes. and it was cringe. So fucking cringe. The whole plot was cringe. Everything about it was cringe. It's so convoluted.
Because I suffered through an hour of that crap, and there was another hour and a half to go. I left with a splitting headache. She's talking about Agent still, yeah. And she says she knows what my number one is. So yes, you do know what my number one is, and because this is a movie that you basically suffered through with me, and again, this was another mystery movie night film from the director of A Wrinkle in Time. And ladies and gentlemen, my number one worst movie of the year is Anna DuVernay's Origin.
That's another one I did not see.
This movie is communist propaganda. It is white man bad from start to finish. It is Oscar bait shit, and I'm glad that they didn't fall for it, because they did one thing right this year, and that was to not nominate this movie for a single fucking thing. This is a movie that starts out with the shooting of Trayvon Martin. Only they don't show what really happened. They show what the press wanted us to believe happened. And there's a lot of that in this movie. Sid says the only reason I sat through that one all the way through is because we were doing a live stream about it. And that is the only reason I sat through it too. Because there was a point in the movie where they equate the American South with Nazi Germany. And as someone who has lived in the South his entire life, I am sick and fucking tired of Hollywood representing people from the South as being nothing but a bunch of racists or dullards. I am fucking sick of it. And this movie is 2.5 hours of that. It is 2.5 hours of being talked down to, of this woman turning up her nose at us, pointing at you and saying that you are scum. You, the audience, I am looking at you and pointing at you. This is a movie that tries to convince me. This is a movie that tries to convince me that a woman who gets to go off and drive around in a $100,000 car wearing designer clothes, who gets invited to her friends' mansions and go to all of these swanky parties, that I would be arrested if I went 2 miles anywhere near. They're trying to tell me that that woman is in this country a fourth-class oppressed citizen. This movie is straight up communist propaganda out of Hollywood, and it should be avoided like the plague. This movie is a racist piece of shit, masquerading as an Oscar bait film. Now, the lead character suffers some losses. She loses her husband and her mother in pretty rapid succession. And those scenes are very well done.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I have not seen the film, but looking at this poster, it looks a
Mhm.
lot like a copy and paste of the one that won the Oscar. The one with the with that movie. Sin, you have a poster of it on your wall. You know the film? I can't think of it right now. I'm having a terrible brain fart. Uh,
Oh, I don't know what you're
Sin
meaning,
has a
but
poster of it
I
on their
wouldn't I
wall.
wouldn't I wouldn't doubt it.
It looks like a copy and paste the poster does, and kind of a
No, I don't think he means a million miles away, Bill, or do
no,
you?
no, 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 no.
Because a
She
million miles
has
away actually has a decent poster.
she has a poster of it on her wall when I see her when she joins your streams.
Okay.
That poster just
Well, okay.
looks
Well,
similar to
we'll
that
have
one.
to see. We'll have to see
Yeah.
tonight. Spoiler alert: Sin is going to be joining me tonight for the other side of midnight, so maybe we will see then, perhaps. Um, she has Black Panther, Terminator, and Michael Myers as her background.
No, there's another one that's
Um,
maybe not a poster, but it was a
hmm,
movie that did good a couple of years back.
hmm. Anyway, like I said, the you know that's those are very touching because I can understand, because I've had a couple of losses myself that I'm trying to get past right now. So that part of the movie, I wish the movie had just been about that. You know, this woman dealing with loss while she's trying to write this book. That would have been a good movie. I would have said fine. But
Oh,
man,
the poster does look awfully clickbaitish too.
yeah, it's a clickbait movie. He says the pool scene was pretty freaking sad too. Yeah, I mean, okay, because stuff like the pool scene happened. You know, um, because there's a scene towards the end of the movie where a black kid is thrown out of a whites only swimming pool, um, which was stuff that did happen in certain places, and it was fucking bullshit that it happened, and it's not right, and I think everybody here can agree with that. But there are a lot of things in this movie that are depicted as fact that are not true. But the connection she was trying to make in her argument didn't compute with me. Yeah. Um, this is a movie that's based on a true story. It's I'm forgetting the woman's name right now. Wilkerson? Yeah. The woman who wrote the book Cast. Um, and this is a movie about her writing that book and research, quote unquote, researching it and just coming up with all of the left wing woke talking points. This movie is race bait crap. And there was a point when I wanted to walk out. And if I had known going in what this movie was going to be, I never would have watched it. It's like she spent a couple of weeks in India and thought she'd figured out the answers to everything. Yeah, there's a segment of the movie where she goes to India, and she's in and she thinks that she can now cure all of the ills of this foreign country that she's been in of all for a couple of weeks. It is just it's so laughable. It would be funny if it wasn't so sad. And John Bernthal is in this film, and he plays her husband. And I think he's in this even less than he's in Wind River. Anyway, oh man, I missed him when he's not in this movie. Oh God, this movie is so bad. Vera Farmiga's in this movie too, playing one of her kind of white liberal apologist friends, who she always meets at these, swell, that's what I call them, swell parties, that she gets to go to. This woman who's made to feel like like she's part of this oppressed low class, but gets to go to some mansion and hang out with her rich white friends, right? And Vera Farmiga is one of those characters. And John Bernthal and Vera Farmiga were in another movie a few years ago that was absolute trash. The Many Saints of Newark, which was the Sopranos prequel movie. The Sopranos prequel movie that was about a guy named Harold. And yeah. I don't want those two to be in a movie together ever again. Just don't. Anna DuVernay, go away. I know your movies are not made for me. You've made that abundantly clear with this one. You didn't need Brie Larson to run interference for you. Yeah, this movie is made for Hollywood people to feel better about themselves. This movie is the left-wing equivalent of like a God's Not Dead movie. And I'm sorry to be so vitriolic, but this movie angered me so badly and misrepresented so many things. You know that tweet that Pedro Pascal gets criticized over, but yet Lucasfilm didn't fire him over? You know that, what I'm talking about? That's this movie.
Yeah.
That's this movie. For 2.5 fucking hours that I'm never going to get back, that Sin's never going to get back. That those people who actually did sit through the entire movie for me for whatever ungodly, half the theater I was in got up and left during the course of this movie. I have never seen that many walkouts in a movie before. You don't show this movie in South Carolina, point at people and say that you're fucking scum. You don't get to say that. You don't get to do that. Fuck you, Anna DuVernay. Fuck you. You racist scumbag. You don't get to do that. Be glad that you talked two good actors into being in this movie, because they gave it the 1 star that I gave it. Go fuck yourself. That's what I have to say to this movie. You insulting piece of crap.
Wow. Shit.
This is a movie made for Brie Larson and Mark Ruffalo and all of their little Hollywood friends that think they are better than us. before you go accusing, look at yourselves in the mirror. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this show to get this vitriolic, but that's how angry this movie made me. Two and a half hours sitting there getting insulted. That's what this movie was.
Wow.
And that is why it is my number one worst movie of the year. I think I would have been better off watching the Marvels that night. Okay, do we still have anybody watching the show? I'm sorry, folks, but that movie just so angers me thinking about it. And this is the last time I'm going to be doing anything that has anything to do with it. And I'm glad. I just want to bury this thing and move on. I would rather be chained to a wall and watch Indiana Jones 5 times over than watch this movie ever again. That's for sure. Okay. Well, that was the show, folks.
This was fun.
It was. Oh man, I lost
This
my
was
shit
really
there for a
fun.
little while. Okay.
No, I've had a blast doing this,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done the best with you.
Yeah.
That was a really
Well,
good.
okay. We got a few minutes, Bill, since you were not able to join me for the best of 2023. Do you have any in mind? Do you have like a favorite movie in mind or movies? And
well,
yeah.
two of my top two have got to be The Covenant and Sisu. Those
absolutely. Yeah.
are probably competing between 1 and 2. Probably The Covenant comes in at a solid number 1 for me, and then number 2 would be Sisu, and number 3. It's hard to think on the fly right now,
No, hey,
because I didn't get to see there was very little films that I did see that I liked. You know, for last year.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, the Covenant and because you were a big champion for the Covenant, and so was Sin, and so was I. I've been recommending that movie to everybody that is within the sound of my voice. It was mine. I think I had it at number 5 for the year. The Holdovers, I know, was one that you recommended to me. I finally got to see that.
I really enjoyed that.
That made my list. Sisu was on my list as well. Yeah. So there were some good movies last year,
probably
folks.
put Sound of Freedom at number 3, and then
Sound of Freedom also on my list.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Had that in my honorable mentions. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would have to think about the rest of them where they stand out in order. Like I said, I saw very few films last year because there's just not a lot of good films that came out.
All right. Well, folks, we're going to wrap up the show here. I'd like to thank everybody who showed up in the chat to watch us. Some familiar faces, some new ones. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're new to my channel and you like what you see, please hit the like, share out the stream, and subscribe to my channel. This is the road to 2,500. And speaking of the newer people, Corey Cochran, thank you very much for joining us. Cool seeing what you had to say in the chat, man. Come again. I usually do another show at this time called Unscripted, which is usually 8 o'clock every Sunday night. Didn't do it this week because of this show. And I'm going to be starting 1 hour earlier next week. I am doing a special 2-hour season 2 premiere of Unscripted, and it's my Oscars not so special. So I'm going to be bagging on the Oscars for 2 hours, and I hope everybody is here with me. Hello to Dulce Maris, who is just joining us. Oh man, I go back and hit the rewind when you get a chance and catch the rest of the show.
Yeah. May I have your permission to put my link?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get to 5K, and I'm getting really close.
Yes, Bill is.
So,
Bill actually should be congratulated because you just got I believe it was 331 brand new subscribers.
Last month in February.
In the last month, yeah.
yeah, it was nothing short of amazing. So it was a good month. Last February was a good month.
Cool. Since Corner says, oh my gosh, I'm working on one of my brother's books and just realized that the title of one of his chapters is the same as It's Wonderful Knife. And of course, there is Bill's channel link.
Yeah.
Corey is asking, what was our take on Meg 2? Meg 2 was Bill's number 7.
Yeah.
It's in my dishonorable mentions. It didn't make the bottom 10 because I liked it slightly more than Bill did, but that's not really saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
But the people who do like that movie, I get it. It is a kaiju film,
Yeah.
at its heart, which is why I didn't rate it lower than I did. But yeah, I mean, if anybody out there, and we said this during our review, we were not telling people not to go see that movie.
Yeah, no.
Enjoyed it, great. It is, as Corey says, it's a no-brainer.
It's a popcorn flick.
It's a popcorn flick.
If you like popcorn flicks, you'll be okay.
I think the only reason it made Bill's list is because Bill didn't see as many movies as I did this year. So
no,
I
am going to try to get out more this year, providing with what's coming. So
there are there were a couple of movies on my list that in past years would not have made it on necessarily. Because like I said, Meg 2 for you was kind of like the Winnie the Pooh movie for me. That was my check your brain at the door movie. But it was still on my list. I could have just as easily replaced it with, The Exorcist Believer or something like that, and I considered it for a time, but now I had to be honest about it, it's bad, but I like it the same with Tremors 4 and 5. The Tremors sequels are, they're fun. They're fun. I totally get it. He says, I don't see a lot of new movies as I got 3,600 movies, 623 shows here to view. Yeah. That's another thing, is finding the time to sit down and actually watch everything, you know. As I'm going to be tomorrow night, I'm joining Sin's Corner for Mystery Movie Night at the Regal. So, you know, join us right back here on my channel tomorrow night at 10 p.m. and find out what we thought of the movie. And hello to Darth Plato. All right. Let me run through it real quick. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Sin's Corner, Lady V, Lady Mist, Connie Cleary, Corey Cochran, Darth Plato, JPRPH1, Dulcimerist. Let me scroll up here. I don't want to miss anyone. Sashi. FKHC 2005, who sometimes goes by Tim.
Edge of Time.
Let's see. Edge of Time. Lester San Jose, the Skeptic Tank. Gorilla's Random Thoughts, who's in the middle of his Our Man Flint watch party right now. So say hello to him. All right.
Dad Man
Big
Walking.
Big Al Presents, Dad Man Walking, and Hakami. I would also like to thank everybody watching on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know you're there. Darth Plato throwing out Napoleon is the worst movie. I didn't get to Napoleon. I had planned to see it. I had Fletcher Williams make up a thumbnail for it for me and everything. Didn't get to the movie.
All right.
So
all right. Deleted. We're gonna have to watch it. Then we'll do the review together.
Oh, okay. Oh, but which version? The 2.5 hour theatrical cut or the 4 hour fucking?
No. We'll just do the theatrical cut.
Apple
Fuck
TV
the long
version.
stuff.
Okay. All right, folks. We went slightly longer than I had planned. Right now, over on Aged Boomers channel, Geeky Geezers Deleted Scenes Raid. Go over there. Say hello to Aged Boomer
and Jedi Bill Raid. Go over there.
And a Jedi Bill Raid. Okay.
Yes.
All right, folks. That's the show. I want to thank you all once again for being here. I want to thank Jedi Bill for taking the time out to come on and give us his personal 10 worst of the year list.
Thank you, Deleted Scenes. This was an absolute blast. Can't wait to do again next year.
Indeed. Any final words? Close it out, Bill.
Excellent to each other. Party on, and we'll be seeing you on the next one.
And from HQ, in our second home office in Arizona.
Oh, yeah. We must drop the links to the raid, and we do that.
Oh, Snapple. Okay.
Let's learn. Link.
Phil for a minute. Wrenches? Help!
Help us, wrenches.
All right, folks, give me a moment.
Oh gosh, we gotta get our stuff together. Deleted.
All right, folks. Dropping it into my chat.
We gotta get our stuff together.
There is There is the link for Geeky Geezers. And joining us right at the end, Disney Sheepherder. From HQ. In our second home office in Arizona, in all points, north, south, east, and west. Deleted scenes, Jedi Bill raid, over on Geeky Geezers. Watch more fucking film. Good night, take care, stay strong, because this is how we fucking win.
Oh no.